see, you might as well go onto the doorbell wire. This isn't super thick, but it is a good test. If your steel is weak, it will roll or chip, probably even with this light gauge. Let's see if I can make a few cuts here. And then we will inspect our edge. A little hard to hold on to. I'll drop the other piece. But double it up, cut through both there. And just looking at the edge here, there's no chips, really no rolling, doesn't seem to be any real damage to the blade. I don't know if that will show up too well for you guys. See if we can even zoom in a little bit. Come on, focus. Oh, having a little bit of focus trouble. But there is no damage to speak of. And pretty happy with that. As you saw, we did run the edge down the copper pretty hard. So if anything was going to dull it, that probably would have been it. And I actually have some pretty heavy cable here. This looks to be some 12-2 stranded. It's got the jute twine around the outsides, pretty heavy rubber jacket insulation there. This is actually 14.3, it looks like. So I'm going to do a little bit of work here just to show some more utility. You really can't strip these size cables with regular strippers. You almost need some kind of a pocket knife. So that works pretty well. No problem cutting that rubber. Let's see if we can actually get a bigger piece off of here. And just to show a little bit of slicing. Works very well. Can easily trim off your jute. This stuff is somewhat abrasive as well. Actually, let's go ahead and cut through this 14 gauge stranded. And again, no visible damage to the edge. I'd say that's a pretty good test for any knife, if it can cut through that. I'm actually curious if I can cut through this whole thing. That would really be something. Alright, we just cut through a solid piece of 14-3 heavy cable here. And just to give you an idea, this stuff is probably about a 1/2 inch in diameter. Took a few swipes, as you could see, but again, this is a very small knife. But really not showing any visible rolling or chipping. I can see a little bit of light on the edge where it has dulled. I did have a very fine razor's edge on there. Obviously that's to be expected with any steel. But I'd say that that's a pretty good test right there. A lot of guys would cringe to see that with any knife. And let's see if it still cuts rope. As you can see, we're still cutting rope. Double this up again. Right, I am definitely getting a little more drag now. But I can still make it in one pass. And again, that copper, going through 3 strands of 14 gauge, some jute, and some heavy non-metallic jacket is definitely going to take a toll on any knife. So definitely keep that in mind. But as you can see, we still do some pretty aggressive stock removal here. I got a hardwood dowel. I believe this is oak. And we're still digging in really well. So I'm not sure if there's really a whole lot more left to do. I got a little bit more cardboard here. As you can see, we're still cutting that pretty cleanly. Again, I'm noticing a little bit more drag on the blade, but it's still fully functional. You're not going to be shaving any hairs, and probably not going to shave any paper either. Yeah, I mean, we're pretty much just tearing the paper now. But I'm going to go ahead and put this on the buffing wheel real quick. We'll see if we can get that edge back. But that should definitely give you a pretty good idea of the edge retention and the hardness of the blade. Because like I said, we definitely have no chipping, no rolling, no significant damage whatsoever. And we should be able to bring this back using nothing but a buffing wheel. So let's go ahead and try that and I'll come back. Alright guys, just spent about a minute on the buffing wheel, loaded it up with some compound, and again, I didn't need to sharpen this. Got a little bit of compound left on the blade. I didn't need to sharpen this or remove any more material. I didn't need to put it on the belt sander or anything like that. Just went ahead and just polish the edge back up for about a minute, and as you can see, well, there we go. Shaving paper again pretty well. still grabbing a little bit. But again, there's no chipping or nicks on the blade. My fingernail's not catching at all. And still catches all the way down my thumbnail. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'd say we definitely passed our test with flying colors, especially considering the amount of abuse with the 14 gauge cable there, as well as the doorbell wire and the cardboard and all of that. So we still have a very functional blade with minimal effort as far as touch-up goes, and I'm pretty pleased with it. Like I've said in past videos, I still want to experiment a little bit with my heat treating process and see if we can improve it even more. But I'm really not expecting that much more out of this 1095 than what we've shown here today. So very pleased with that, very happy, and I think this will be easily a daily user that should cut long and hard with minimal touch-up based on average daily chores. So I'm very pleased with that. And that's how the rest of the blades should be coming out. So thanks for watching, guys. Any questions, comments, feel free to leave those. Also feel free to rate and subscribe if you have not already. There's definitely more to come. Stay tuned.